There we are. I think I've fixed it. Right, can you hear me? Anyone let me know? Here we go. Think you can hear me now? That's looking good. This is what you call a first YouTube live ever. I'm really not expecting much from this, but we will get started. So, can we hear me? Right, I'm going to go on pause again. Bear with me one moment. Yes. All right, yay, we're live. Hello. It's a bumpy ride, but you're my friends, so it's all good. Right, so you can hear me, fantastic. So let me just bring up the, right, okay. Hello. Right, so let's go. So why am I here? Why am I doing YouTube Live? Who am I? And what do you going to expect from me? Well, I'm a UK osteopath. I qualified in 2000. And that is, that's 17 years ago. So I've been practicing osteopathy for 17 years. So I've been treating back pain for 17 years. And I've also been a yoga teacher for 20 years. And when I started clinical practice, I noticed very quickly two things. One is that I was seeing a lot of people who'd been in pain for years, literally years. You know, sometimes people have been in pain for up to 20 years, back pain, neck pain, all sorts of pains. And within 3 treatments, osteopathic treatments, they were better. And initially I just thought this was just fluke, you know, beginner's luck. And, you know, obviously it's not me, it's just the skills I've been taught and yoga. But then I realized that people are wandering around for years and years and years with pain unnecessarily. Because in my 17 years now, I now know that it wasn't fluke. You can fix back pain, very severe back pain, very quickly with the right advice. And what my patients had been missing was a correct diagnosis. They'd been missing a correct treatment plan. They'd been missing a correct management plan. So that is the absolute key. Now, the second thing I noticed was quite how incredibly effective yoga is for treating back pain, neck pain, headaches. How very quickly the correctly prescribed yoga is for back pain. So I launched my little YouTube channel. I just put my little videos out. I thought, well, you know what? People just need a little bit of information. They just need the right information for the right condition. Obviously, those of you who are my YouTube subscribers, you will know that I am absolutely bang on all the time about diagnosis. Unless you have a definitive diagnosis, I can't help you and no one else can help you. But why am I here now live with you? Well, over 3 years, I've been getting so many questions from you all on my videos. And these questions, often I miss them because I don't check my YouTube channel for months, which I apologize for. I'm much better now, I check it daily. But, you know, the questions you're asking me, they're time sensitive. You know, pain, an hour is an eternity when you're in pain. A week is just like unforgivable. So I just thought, well, you know what? You know, my subscribers are looking for answers, and very simple answers to very simple questions, and you're looking for them fast. So here I am. I'm going to start doing these live questions and answers, so do join me if you can, or watch the records. Send me your questions. But I am here for you, and I'm here to answer your questions that you need answering right now. So I'm going to kick off this session with, I'd like to answer the questions that I've been receiving on my YouTube videos, and then we'll see where we go from that. I picked the subject of back spasms for this YouTube live because it's everywhere. It's the one, my most watched video on YouTube is how to manage a back spasm. You know, when you find yourself collapsed on the floor, unable to move, what the hell do you do? Or if you find someone, what do you do? And then if it happens again 3 months later, you know, why did it happen? How did you get there? And how do you stop it happening again? These are the questions that you are asking. There's one other thing I wanted to say. The reason I'm here and making the effort to do these videos now is I think back pain is terrifying, really terrifying, and often not acknowledged how scary it is. But I just want you to know, I know that it's scary, and I know how much it affects your life, and it affects everything. It affects your sex life, it affects your ability to go out and have fun, it affects your ability to play sports, it affects your ability to play with your children, pick up your children, play football with your children. It affects your ability to go shopping, because even standing in a supermarket queue can leave you kind of crippling and like begging. You know, I've seen people have to leave a queue because they're just in so much pain. And I'm just here as maybe a little light at the end of the tunnel to say that your life doesn't have to be like that, and there is always something you can do. If you can't completely resolve your back pain, which personally I believe most people should be able to, but if you can't, then you can definitely dramatically reduce your back pain. So I'm here, and we are a team now. I am your friend, and I am going to be the person that you can ask questions to. So, you know, if you want to buy a mattress and you don't know which mattress to buy, you can ask me. If somebody suggested a new product that will help your back pain and you want a second opinion on it, you can ask me. If you've been going for treatment and you're not getting anywhere with that treatment, come on to my live sessions and ask me, because it may just be, you know, your diagnosis is great, but your treatment plan is wrong. It may be that you're doing the wrong exercises. So that's what I'm here for, to answer your questions and set you on the right path, because there is no reason why you should be in pain. Right, so I have to say a huge thank you to Michelle Bigman, who left a message on my Managing Back Spasms video. And you know what, Michelle, you broke my heart. Your message broke my heart. I just thought, okay, I have to get online now and talk to these people, because people need help. You guys need help. So I'm just going to read your question out, Michelle. I hope you don't mind, just so then I can answer it and see if we can get you some help. Right, so I have recurring spasms about once a month. They're generally so bad and won't relax that I'm unable to even move about for 3 days. Movement causes instant sweating and nausea, and I have passed out a few times on the onset of them. I can't even imagine that, Michelle, just saying. Although I've witnessed it, but, you know, monthly. I've had x-rays that show no damage. Great. And after attending a chiropractor once a week for a year with no relief, I am certain that these spasms are all muscle-based. Correct. Good conclusion, Michelle. I'm currently pregnant and had a baby last year, so I know that my core stability is absolutely weakened, which I feel is the main problem. I'm in pain daily. I'd love to know how old you are, Michelle. I imagine you're maybe in your late 30s. I'm in pain daily and am unable to sit or stand for more than 15 minutes at a time. I'm walking daily, stretching, focusing on hip flexors, quad, hamstrings and glutes, using heat and ice, and have had no luck. So there you go. This is the classic situation. You're doing everything that you think you should be doing and nothing is working. Why the hell not? Okay, so that's what we're going to address. All my pain is lower back, and just lying on the floor with bent knees causes intense pain in my sacrum that sometimes it can put me into a spasm. Help. Capital letters with about 6 exclamation marks. Okay, Michelle, let's help you. All right, so the first thing, you're absolutely right. Your problem is muscular. You've had all your tests. That's great. We know we can help you now. You've got no disc problem. You've got no arthritis. You've got nothing going on. So that's fantastic. We can get rid of this back pain for you. So you had a baby a year ago. So what that means is your core stability is actually knocked out. That's the complete word, because core stability is actually a neurological connection between the muscles and your brain. And when we're born, your muscles are all designated different jobs. So you have muscles in your back that are supposed to move you, and you have muscles in your back that are supposed to stabilize you. They're different muscles with different jobs. And it's the brain that decides and instructs which muscles to do what. So before you walk, your brain instructs your core muscles, which they're two little muscles called multifidus and transverse abdominis. And if I was smart at this whole YouTube live thing, I would be flipping up pictures now. Maybe in a few weeks I'll start flipping up pictures, but right now just know there's two muscles in your core, around your abdomen, in your spine, around your spine, that are called multifidus and transverse abdominis. Now their job is to contract before you move. So your brain, it sends a little signal down to those muscles, multifidus and transverse abdominis. It says contract now. And then secondary step 2 is it tells the movement muscles, the erector spinae and all the other muscles in the body, it tells them to activate. So that is like the natural process that should happen. You decide you're going to take an action. The brain tells the stability muscles to move. It tells the movement muscles to move. And then great, everything, you move. It's all good. Now, in that situation, there is no pain. There is no back pain. Now, the problem happens when something happens to override that whole natural process, that whole brain control. And one of the things that overrides that is giving birth. Because when you give birth, there's a massive contraction of all the muscles in your back and in your abdomen to push the baby out. Even if you don't push the baby out and you have a section or whatever, you've still had several hours of massive contractions. Now that causes a massive rush of signals, neurological signals, back to the brain. Now the brain can't tell where those signals are coming from. So it gets such an overriding rush that it can no longer distinguish between your movement and your stabilizing muscles. So you give birth, you have the baby, it's all lovely, and then a few weeks later, back pain. So why? What's happened is, because the brain can no longer distinguish multifidus and transverse abdominis, which are the core muscles, from your movement muscles, it's no longer instructing the core muscles to switch on. So basically, all the muscles in your back are suddenly doing all the work. So all your muscles are moving you and all your muscles are stabilizing you, and it's just a mess. It's basically just a mess. It's just confused. Man, it's just like a spaghetti junction of neurological kind of movement. And so the result is that your movement muscles, which are designed to move you, are now being asked to stabilize you. Now, they are what we call short twitch fibers. Movement muscles are designed to contract, relax, contract, relax, contract, relax. They're not designed to contract and stay contracted, which is what stabilizers are designed to do. Stabilizers have long twitch fibers. They're designed to contract and stay contracted to stabilize you, while all the movement muscles are doing their job all around it. Now, multifidus and transverse abdominis basically just go to sleep, because unless they're instructed by the brain to wake up, nothing happens. So your movement muscles are doing everything. So, that can go on for a little while before you get the back pain. But this is why you'll be standing in a supermarket queue, and you're standing for, say, 5-10 minutes. And then your movement muscles, they're pretty happy to stabilize you for a certain amount of time. But because they are these short twitch fibers, they're designed to contract, relax. They basically, what we call fatigue. After a certain amount of time, those movement muscles in your back, they're really doing their best, and then they just fatigue. And how you experience muscles fatiguing is pain. So pain, you have to remember that pain is basically just the body's way of telling you that something is wrong. And what's wrong is the wrong muscles are stabilizing you. So if everything was doing what it was meant to be doing, you wouldn't experience pain. There would be no need for the signals. So I hope you got that. It's very simple really, but it can be a little bit confusing when you first hear it. But at least you've got an absolute definitive explanation of why you are in pain. And to me, as an osteopath, and me as Kobe Langford, and me here wanting to help you, that is the most important thing, is that you understand why you are in pain, what tissues are in pain, because what that does is it automatically relaxes you, and you're kind of like, that's all it is. It's just my poor little erector spinae muscles being overworked. Oh, and like what that causes is like a release of endorphins, as opposed to a release of adrenaline, which is what, and cortisol, which is what you get when you've just got back pain, like you, Michelle. You've got your back pain once a month. You're passing out with pain. You're passing out with these back spasms, and then you're going to enter a cycle, because what that creates is fear. And fear creates adrenaline and cortisol, and adrenaline is designed to make you run. So your muscles get tighter, because that's what adrenaline is supposed to do and cortisols are supposed to do. So you've got all these stress hormones running around your body because you're so scared, so confused, so upset, and so cross because your life has been completely interrupted. You know, you've got this beautiful little baby and you can hardly pick it up because you're in so much pain. And then you enter this whole cycle of guilt and remorse, and you know, it's this whole cycle, and that creates internal stress, you know, a lot of internal stress. And the relationship between internal stress and muscle tension has been proved over and over and over and over again. So we know that you get stressed, your muscles get tight, you let that continue for a long period of time, you get a back spasm, which is basically, if you've watched my videos, it's just where the muscles clamp up and decide they're not going to let go. So there's our situation. That's the first thing. You've got a diagnosis, Michelle. You know why you're in pain. So hopefully you're feeling a bit happier now. So what do you do about it? You hear everywhere, don't you? In magazines and on TV and on YouTube and on the internet, you hear it's all about activating your core stability. But there's lots of people doing this wrong. That's the problem. There's this huge misconception that to activate your core, you need to do sit-ups and you need to do, you know, a lot of abdominal strengthening, and that's the big mistake, in my experience, that everyone is making. And I've worked with footballers who had back pain, and footballers are working with, you know, the best of the best of the best, and they didn't have core. Their core was not active. So it's rife across. So core stability, let's go back to the beginning of the answer to this question. Core stability is neurological. And to re-establish your core stability, we need to re-establish that embryological process whereby your brain tells your core stability muscles, multifidus and transverse abdominis, tells them to contract, and then the movement muscles move. So in that situation, when your movement muscles can now relax and stop causing you pain. One point I wanted to say actually is the reason your back muscles are spasming is to stabilize you. So they're actually trying to do you a favor. They're not trying to cause you pain. They're actually trying just to hold you upright. So the way that we reactivate core stability is through very, very delicate, targeted muscle exercises that basically cause your multifidus to twitch. So you know these very basic transverse abdominis exercises that we do, where you contract a lot in Pilates. I love Pilates for reactivating core. So you do these very simple transverse lower abdominal muscle contractions. Now, it's not actually transverse abdominis. This is another secret, a big secret that everybody misses, because why would you know? Because you're not a medic. But transverse abdominis isn't actually a core muscle. It's multifidus that's the core muscle. But multifidus, which is this muscle by your spine, to make it even worse, your brain can't send a message to multifidus. That's the big problem. That's the big stumbling block in this whole big story that everyone finds themselves in. Is it's a subconsciously controlled muscle. It's not. You can't say, right, contract multifidus. Like you can say to biceps, contract. You can make that conscious decision. You can't make that conscious decision about the core muscles. So you have to do it through transverse abdominis. So when you contract transverse abdominis, your lower abdominal muscle, which everyone knows so much about, it basically attaches to multifidus, it pulls on it, and that sends a twitch. It causes the muscle to twitch. It sends a signal back to the brain, and the brain will go, ooh, where's that signal come from? And you do that enough times, you get this. So you basically spend 3 days doing these very simple exercises. You get some signals up from multifidus up to the brain. So the research has shown it takes 3 days of doing these exercises for sending the signals to the brain, for the brain to reconnect to multifidus. And then after that process, you should be back in business. It's what we call resetting core stability. And once that happens, you will see a very slow and gradual reduction in your pain as the movement muscles are then able to relax. Now, I wish it was that simple, but it's not, because by the time you get to the point where you're in back spasms, you've also got muscles that are chronically tight. So they won't just relax like that. Just because you've reactivated your core, they won't just relax. So you then have to the only way, let me share with you, the only way I have found for my patients is 6 weeks. It takes 6 weeks to re-establish that muscle balance. So once you've reignited the core, you then have to get the movement muscles relaxed and then strengthened, because they're actually chronically weakened. Because when you've had a baby, then the muscles have been holding on for so long, they become weak. They become shortened and weak. So you have to lengthen them and strengthen them, but you can't strengthen them until you've relaxed them and stretched them out, because they'll go into spasm. It's basically like a whole process. So which is why I created, for people like you, Michelle, my 6-week ease back pain, which I'll leave the link at the bottom of the video where you can get that. It's currently only available in audio, but I am filming it at the moment, so it will be available in video. But basically 6 weeks. So you start with 3 days of core activation. Then you take yourself through 2 weeks of stretching out those chronically tight and chronically shortened muscles. And then you can bring in the strengthening. And this is a program that I really messed around with my patients. And I tried to just do the core and then do the strengthening, but that didn't work. That was sending them into spasms. So I literally learned by trial and error that you activate the core, then you need 2 weeks where you do nothing. You don't do any strengthening exercises. You don't go to the gym, you don't cycle, you don't swim. You give those muscles that have been chronically holding on for as long as you've been in pain, you give them time to relax, you stretch them out, then you layer it up, and for the last 4 weeks you bring in the strengthening. And then at the end of those 6 weeks, I have not had one patient not get pain relief from that 6 weeks, not one. If they've actually done it day in, day out for 6 weeks, every single person I've ever worked with has got 80% plus pain relief. And the reason for that is that it's just anatomy. The muscles are causing you pain. We've all got the same muscles in our back. You've all got erector spinae, you've all got multifidus, you've all got transverse abdominis, and those muscles have all got their own jobs, and they all respond in exactly the same way to things such as pregnancy. And we can then unravel that. Now, the problem is, see, you're probably saying, Michelle, but I've done all that. I've done core, and I've done strengthening, and I've done stretching. But the thing is, you haven't done it all at the same time, in the right combination, the right duration, and the right kind of, you're doing all the right things. That I don't know. Took me years as an osteopath to figure it out, but I have, which is now why I can share it with you. So, Michelle, my suggestion to you is get my 6-week back pain program, do it, and then get back to me. But I think you will be done. What you will find is you'll probably know this. You'll probably recognize this situation. You're in a back spasm, or you've got back pain, and you go and get a massage, don't you? And it helps great for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe a day. But then everything comes back again. All your muscles start tightening up again. All the back pain comes back. And maybe you've gone to yoga and you've tried to do yoga, and again that helps for a while, and then it comes back. Or sometimes yoga in that situation can make it worse because you're doing the wrong yoga. And sometimes, you go to an osteopath, or you go to a chiropractor, or you go to a physio, and you have all these treatments, and you find, it really helps, you get really excited, and then exactly the same thing happens. All those symptoms come back, and all those muscles tighten up again. And that is because multifidus, that core muscle, is asleep. And it just can't, those muscles that you keep relaxing with the massage and the stretches and the yoga, they really want to relax, but they physically cannot, because something in your body has to hold you up. And as long as multifidus is asleep, everything is going to fail. Everything will fail. All you're doing is just giving yourself temporary muscle relaxation. So this is why I say to people, there is no shortcut, but there is a route. There is an absolute guarantee route to resolving muscular back pain, and it takes 6 weeks. I wish it didn't take 6 weeks. I wish you could do it in 2 weeks, but you can't. You're literally have to retrain your muscles. You have to retrain and rebalance your back muscles. And I think any osteopath or chiropractor or physio you ask about this, or if they're watching now, every single one of them will say exactly the same thing to you. There is a solution, a definitive solution to back pain, muscular back pain, but it takes effort, but the right effort. So hopefully, Michelle, have I answered all your questions? Is there anything else? I just think you don't need to worry. This is all your situation is. That is it. Solved. And even if you had a disc injury, I would say the same thing to you. You just need to stabilize the disc by strengthening the back and rebalancing all the muscles. So I hope that helps you, Michelle. There we are. Okay, so if you have any questions on what I've said now, if you do get my 6-week back pain program, I explain in there much more slowly and much more organized what I've just explained to you about, the neurological connection between all the muscles. So if you want to hear that in a little bit more of a way that you may actually understand it, just listen to that. That will truly explain it for you. Okay, my friend, I hope that helps. Let's see what else have we got here. So I've got a great one here. Yes, I love this question. This is really inspiring. So, not inspiring, exciting to me as an osteopath to try and answer. So, Rajetois, sorry, I think you look Russian. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name right. You said to me, in my mind, a spasm or a cramp is something that occurs rapidly and fades away quickly as well. My upper back pain can be felt 2 days before the main attack of spasm. And the main attack is quite rapid, and it always forces me to lay down on the ground. It then takes literally an hour to force myself to get up despite the pain. And then it takes 2 to 3 days and then fades away slowly. This is a great question. This is exactly the kind of question I want to answer for you. It's just dispelling all your myths and just clarifying things for you. Sorry, BB's talking to me. Have you ever tried to Hello, BB. I don't know how to answer that. I'm sorry. Have you ever tried to harness God's secret universe energy? No. Back to the question. Takes literally an hour to force myself to get up despite the pain, and it takes 2 to 3 days, then fades away slowly. I heard a lot of stories about people suffering back pain, but mine is so strong I can't even see it. I love this. Everyone thinks that their back pain is special and their back pain is different. And their back pain is the scary one, and their back pain is the one that's actually something really wrong. And this is exactly why I'm here, because I want to help you with that fear. The worst thing I can do is to then stay in bed because it helps me when I try to move. Walk slowly, walk around the flat. And the big question at the end, is this a back spasm? I can feel it in the muscles. Okay, so what this question tells me is that how could you possibly know what a back spasm is? All you know is you're in pain. So to answer that initial question, yes, a back spasm, it will take 2 days. It'll take, you say you feel the symptoms for 2 days before the main spasm. I promise you those symptoms were there for 2 weeks before the spasm, because a back spasm doesn't happen like that. A back spasm is a slow build-up of tension in the muscles, and till they eventually reach a level of tension where they snap, they snap into spasm, they snap into concrete. So at any point in that 2 weeks leading up to that back spasm, you can stop it. So that's really good. What's really good about this, Razchek, is that you're actually noticing the symptoms. Now that is the key. That's what I train all my patients to do, is to read the symptoms and see the symptoms and understand the symptoms, so that you can then do your stretches, you can start relaxing, you can do your hot and cold packing, you can use your Soothe cream. My Soothe cream is fantastic for back spasms, or preventing back spasms. It's not so great once you're in a back spasm. Diazepam is probably what you need at that point. But the best thing you can do for yourself is to understand the symptoms, notice that slow build up of tension in the back. To me, this is key. This is it. This is the key to controlling back spasms, is just understanding that they take a long time to happen. And the number one contributing factor to back spasms, in my opinion, is stress. Because when you get stressed, as I explained earlier in this session, when you get stressed, your brain secretes cortisol, direct relation between stress and muscle tension. You allow that stress to be prolonged, or it's obviously very rarely in your control, your stress. Your muscles get build up, and then they lock. Now, you can't control your stress, but you can control the response of your muscles to that stress. So I suggest, do watch my video on back spasms, on what to do for back spasms. That will give you kind of first aid. But in those 2 weeks, what I suggest you do is you start looking at yoga, breathing, relaxation, just somehow finding a way to really center yourself and take time for yourself. Because often I think a back spasm is a time that you're not looking after yourself. It's a sign, sorry, not a time, it's a sign that you're not looking after yourself, and you're just running around looking after the rest of the world and not taking time to nurture yourself and to listen to your body and what it needs. I will continue to always say that pain is a sign from the body that something needs looking at, but sometimes what needs looking at is you. You need to look after yourself. You need to have a hot bath, and you need to give yourself enough sleep, and you need to eat the right nourishment. If you don't eat the right food, you become deficient in vitamins and minerals, you become deficient in magnesium, your muscles will spasm, because magnesium is very important. It's important that you take time to be with your family, and it's important that you get a good work-life balance. I speak like this because I've spent 17 years treating back spasms, and people come in, and I would say they're stress heads. And I see a lot of stress heads, people who just live very busy lives, or people who live for everyone else and not themselves. And if I were to give you one tip here that I've learned in my years on this planet, is that if you really want to help other people, you have to look after yourself as well. Because if you just look after people and don't look after yourself, you become drained, you become tired, you become grumpy, you get back pain, you get back spasms, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work as a life model. I might be stepping outside of the realms of what you're expecting with me answering your questions about back pain, but I can't ignore what causes back pain, and this is it. This is very real. This is very real, that if you can learn to look after yourself and look after your body and your personal needs, your back pain will reduce, in my experience. So I hope that answers your question, Razjek. A back spasm is not just a short thing that goes away. It's a slow build up, then it happens, it can stay for up to 2 weeks. A back spasm can literally stay. I've seen people, in bed for 2 weeks with a back spasm, and then it eases off. And then depending what you do after that will determine how quickly you get your next one. So if you don't do your stretching, if you don't reactivate your core, in my experience, the number one reason for back spasms is lack of core. Sorry, number two reasons. Number one is stress, without doubt. One is stress, number two is core. But once you've had, here's the thing, if you've watched this video from the beginning and you saw my explanation about the massive neurological overload to the brain from giving birth, The same thing happens with a back spasm. So if you're just going through a really stressful year and you get this really long, slow build-up of tension that resolves in a back spasm, you will have a back spasm is the same pretty much as giving birth. So you get this massive rush of signals which cuts out the brain's ability to hear multifidus and stops communicating with multifidus. So once you've had a back spasm, your core is knocked out. It's gone. It's not, have I got core? Haven't I core? You haven't. Core is gone once you've had a back spasm. A lot of people get a back spasm immediately after a disc bulge. So if you have at any point in your life had a disc bulge, a disc injury, you will not have core. Your core will, that neurological connection will have been interrupted. But remember, the good news is 3 days. It only takes 3 days to reactivate core. So I feel like I've been talking for a really long time, and I think I'm going to leave it there for now. Just 2 lovely questions that I've really enjoyed answering, and I will be doing these sessions regularly. I don't know how regularly yet. I'm going to just see how it goes. I think my main thing is I want to provide you with fast answers to your questions, because like I said, pain is it's time dependent. You need answers quick. So I'm definitely going to do these once a week. And then I will do them more often if you guys send me in your questions. And so I hope you've enjoyed this. I'd love your feedback on this. Let me know. My next one, I will focus on disc injuries. Next week, I'll be looking at what you can, just answering your questions on disc injuries. So send me in your questions on disc injuries. If you haven't got a jar of Soothe Cream yet, do buy a jar of that, soothecream.com. It's a muscle relaxant. It's this cream. Have I not told you about my cream yet? This I created this cream because my patients were coming in pain, and there's a few things you can give someone who's in pain. You can give them ibuprofen, which is an anti-inflammatory, or you can give them paracetamol, which is an anesthetic, or you can give diazepam, which is a muscle relaxant, or you can give arnica, which is tissue healing. All of this is very researched. You can see all this it's all researched. So I found my patients were kind of going out rattling. It's like, right, go see your doctor, get all this medication, and then take this arnica, and try a bit of lavender, and my patients were like, oh. And I looked at it one day and I thought, what, this is, because there's these 4 routes to pain relief, anti-inflammatory, anesthetic, muscle relaxant, and tissue healing, depending on what your pain is. If your pain isn't due to inflammation and you take an ibuprofen, you won't get pain relief, So I thought, what I need one product that does all those 4 things at once, all in one go. And to top it off, I want it to be natural, because ibuprofen, paracetamol, diazepam, they're all highly there's a maximum dose you're allowed to take because they're medication. And so if you've maxed out on your dose and you don't have your pain relief, you're stuffed basically. So I created this. That's what I created. This is all natural, completely natural cream. The anesthetic is lavender and wintergreen. Very powerful pain relief anesthetics. That's got loads of research papers on that. And then the anti-inflammatory is frankincense. And you can look this all up yourself. I'm not allowed to say, claim anything. I'm just telling you what's in it and what it's said to do. Frankincense is said to be an anti-inflammatory. And then you've got the muscle relaxant, which is, believe it or not, rosemary and bergamot essential oils have a very powerful muscle relaxant effect. Again, researched and proven. I've looked up all the research papers. They are actually shown to be muscle relaxants. And then good old arnica, which is known also for its pain relieving properties, but mainly it draws the blood into the area and just stimulates that tissue healing. So you've got this fantastic all natural, so you can't overdose on it. You just keep whacking it on, keep layering it on rather. You put it on, you let it soak in. This is something I do suggest people use to prevent a back spasm when you're in those 2 weeks, when you can feel your muscle tensions building up and building up, this is when you would want to use your Soothe cream and just keep layering it on, let it soak in, and just let that rosemary and bergamot build up in the muscles and activate that relaxation. At the same time, you've got the anti-inflammatory. What I love about this cream is that you get the instant pain relief with lavender. I'm so excited about this. I'm so sorry. You can switch off now if you want. But I'm so excited about this cream because as an osteopath, I've been desperate for this product my whole career, and so you get the instant pain relief, which is lavender and wintergreen, but then you get treatment as well. You know, the other natural herbs are actually treating it. You're getting the anti-inflammatory, you're getting the muscle relaxation, the tissue healing. So it's not just covering up the symptoms, which annoys people like, medics, annoys people like osteopaths and medics and physios, that we don't like just covering up the symptoms. We like to resolve the problem. We like to correct the problem and have a permanent, if possible, response and relief to that. So that's why I'm so excited about this cream that I've created, because it's really an answer to my own prayers for my patients. So there we are. Get yourself a jar of that if you're in pain. So I think I will sign off now. I won't burn your ears anymore. Thank you for joining me, and please send me your questions. I will be here once a week without fail, to help you and to take away your fear and to be your bounce board, to be your friend, and just to be someone that you trust. I just want to be someone that you trust on YouTube and that you can get an answer from fast. Okay, so let me see if I can stop this. I don't know. Have a lovely evening. Have a great question. Have a great evening meal. Have a great evening, and send me your questions. And I love you all. And let's say goodbye to back pain from in the UK.